caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray, gotta make it out some way. Put a smile back on my mama's face. Yeah, I'm caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray, gotta make it out some way. Put a smile back on my mama's face. Yeah.
Even with the Twitter thing. So when we connect you to Twitter, it was just like, even then I told you I don't want to run your page because I go think. But even that, like, it started a conversation because when I introduced you to Twitter, I had put you out there. I said, hey, everybody, this is my friend. I told a little bit of your situation. And so many people showed you love. But then we had a few that were like, oh, well, 32 years, how was he innocent? Like, obviously he's out now, so that, you know, says something. But there was just different things, you know what crazy, I mean? Man. And then I remember arguing with a random dude. We started arguing because I just like, how dare you even say something like, and he's like, well, if people don't, and I'm like, didn't I just find myself arguing with these idiots? So there are people out there who still believe certain people belong in prison, certain people this and that. So when people like you, when Sean Ellis and other people tell their stories, or even myself when I talk about my incarceration, when I talk about how I got there, or even like segregation, like I don't, you know, we always had these conversations after. I don't like talking about them, but it helped makes changes. You know what I mean? So for me, you know, again, we appreciate you and thank you for being on here because, again, it's about the younger people and what we left behind. You know what I mean? And it's about us taking care of our community and, again, making it real to young people. Because everybody leaves Boston and go to Providence and Somerville and Brockton and whatever to party, to meet up with girls or skating or whatever have you. And these stories, they happen. Again, we know some of the same people that are still locked up that are innocent. And I know for a fact, you know for a fact. So these stories, even though
they help out,
you know, I'm sorry, like you have to relive it and everything, but they do. And, you know, and I'm sorry. And I know it's not me that put you in there.
That's not, me and you don't do that. So we're not doing no commercial here either. We're going to keep it real. I'm with Ramelda. I do other shows and they want a behavior pattern. I still don't follow those. So on here, definitely we're not doing that. Right. It's factual, right? I do want to say,
everybody know me know that.
As many of the points that I can remember, right? I do want to say that I can't live my life out on performance, right? So I realized that you know, otherwise I'd be right directly into the movies, right? I probably couldn't control that either. I can't. In prison, I know what I've done, right? And I always, and I don't do it in challenge. I do it in some form of respect. Like, damn, man, you know, not only did I have to do it, but I was in there innocently while I was doing it, and you know, it got me through. It was given. I wanted to give. Yeah. I didn't do it best because it was new, but I was raising the issue. I was going to the Hoes Forum. I was filing that paperwork. My brother M1 was doing that. We were doing that collectively. You dig what I'm saying? You know, from the nation coming on, we done a lot of things, bro, and created a lot of projects. My brother Fuquan, that was our circle. You feel me? These things we're on. They're day ones. Darren Howard, we're day ones. You know what I mean? Unquestionable day ones, right? But the idea is you have to pass that baton on. Yes. At some point, I have to be willing to do that. So I have to correct the idea. So I'm doing the innocentconvicts.org, and the president of that with Brother Osagi. There's a reason that I took that position. I'm doing a bunch of things, but I'm doing that, and I'm livening that up because when you're in prison and you're convicted innocently, it does not play out the way people think that it plays out. That's what's important to me today. It does not play out the way that people think it plays out. I'm not really here. I'm here on the kids' side, prevention. It's just like Gangsta Gone Legit. You see, there's an innocent edition. I don't want to come back to that, not to lose point, but the purpose of it, there's Ice edition, there's an innocent edition, there's editions, but the Gangsta Gone Legit is about going legit. We'll talk about that. But I'm equating it to something, right? With my brother Keem Parrish, Belknap, we all doing it, but I equate it to something. These movements I make myself part of, so that is for the youth, right? That is advising those that have been in the game that are still out here like, yo, that might not be the move. But my primary position is not being able, because there's 3 points in this. My position can never be one of saying I'm doing things to stop people from getting convicted. I know that that's a fool's role because that's all paperwork, and that paperwork already been there saying don't do this, don't do that. Those policies, those constitutions already been there. That's why we get out, because of those constitutions and those facts that were overlooked. So they're already there. So we got a bunch of people that spend their time, you know, like, check it out, I'm gonna get on this board, I'm writing this bill, I'm doing that, and I'll participate, but from afar, because I'm going, by the time you do that, the dude that's in there is who I'm concerned about, like I was. He still has that little bit of hope, and it's slim. So my real position is trying to bring brothers home.
Yeah.
And my methodology to doing it is probably not always being nice or saying I'm hurt or putting myself at an expression of
nice
woe
guys
is me.
finish last, though.
No, it's not even that. I respect the idea of somebody doing it nice, but you're right. It is finishing last, but right now we're in a race where only thing that's going to matter is that you finish, right? And not delaying that. Everything has to be a little more direct.
Right.
This is a situation we're really in, right? So when these things are going on, COVID, I want people to understand how I would feel if I was still in that prison, how I know that other person feels, that I know is still there, like my brother Fuquan. I know how he feels because when we're going through COVID and doing all that stuff, we lose sight.
Right. I want you to talk about that, too.
Okay, we lose sight, right? Because we're going through something, our traumas, our different things, we lose sight. And then, you know, this war, they lose sight. So all of these legislators and people that were in place to focus on the criminal justice system entirely, because that's where we were. Before all this happened, that's what was going on. Black rights and can they solve this? All that, nobody don't realize that ain't even coming up. The voting laws are already in place. Now the voting is going on and they dealing with that. Like, oh, shit, they didn't switch the laws. They didn't change the voting thing. We're going through all this in Georgia. We're doing all this, right? All that's going on. All of those things right there, distractions out here for you, but they're a bigger distraction when you're the one in prison saying, damn, I just was getting my case to this level and now the court's closed down for a year because of COVID.
Right.
I was just getting myself in position.
You got to start over.
For you out here, you can afford that 5 and 6 years and be like, well, I got a 5-year goal life plan.
Right.
But, you know, you got a life plan involving things you bought, homes you want, and cars. This person got a 5-year plan to have a life, and it ain't being delivered on because of these distractions. So who's going to keep making that noise?
Right.
Now, if I try to do it always quietly, right?
It's not going to work.
It's just not going to work because you know what's going to happen? It's going to turn into interview time. You can be their shine man without even knowing you their shine man. I mean, yeah, you got all the shine, but that's all you really are. We'll call you when it's shine time.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? They don't call me on that because they know I'm going to be who I am. So when they do, it's like we got to do it anyway. Yeah. When I did with the Globe, the Aaron Hernandez thing and different things that I've done, when they buzz me, they know we're going to get what you're going to get with him. I'm not going to articulate how I feel to you. I'm going to express how I feel. There's a difference. There's a difference. I just want to be clear on that. Yeah. These things right here are holding up the brothers in prison, holding up the sisters in prison who have hope. Those distractions, I'm trying not to leave no room for them. I'm trying to still be echoing some form of voice loud, no matter how I do it, to be able to say they there. You dig what I'm saying? They there. They know what's going on.
But when you do it, and when yourself, Sean Ellis, like when guys like you guys do it, it becomes real to the community, to the people, to the residents, to the family, right, to the Commonwealth, to even your own family members, right? When, you know, sometimes we second guess our peoples, we do it ourselves. But when you do that, like we did with the Twitter situation, it became people was like, wow, 32 years, that's longer than I've been alive. And it draws people to your story, right? And then it makes it reality for those that are left back inside.
Be clear on this. So I'll announce this here. I feel sorry for me. That's enough. I was feeling sorry for me every day that I was in there. Right. You know what I mean? With strength, getting stronger with it, like working out. My spiritual account was good. And I was adding to that addition. But I don't need any help in that. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because whatever I'm going through, the trauma is going to be there anyway. I got to work it out. I had to work it out 32 years alone. Now I can have a little support, but I'm still going to have to work it out, primarily, no matter what I do. For me, there's a big difference right now in my own life, in my own terms. In order for me to ever really be free, I had to edge out what's not me, meaning even in presentation. I know I mean no offense. I know I mean it for good. And me and God know, primarily. God knows. So he can look at it and say, yo, if I disrupt something along the way of trying to do the good, then I go, well, listen, look at where I came from. So maybe in that moment I was louder than I should be. You know what I mean? Maybe that moment it was passionate. I've been trapped in a box for 32 years where every single hour of the day is an event and trauma. You understand that? Every single hour of the day. The stuff you watching on the news, oh, they sick the dog on somebody, oh, the police beat somebody. I'm seeing that every other day. They might be jumping on these young gang dudes and gassing them and doing. I'm seeing that daily. You're just seeing it when it's an incident.
I'm caught up in this fast life. Every morning night I pray. Gotta make it out some way. Put a smile back on my mama's